Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and today it's time for me to review what's kind of been a surprise hit in this year's lineup so far. Granted, it is early days so far, but to my surprise, the last time I checked, Lithuania was sitting pretty at second place in the betting odds. Granted, at the time of recording we only have 11 songs, but that's considerably better than Lithuania usually does, so this is definitely one to keep an eye on, and we're 30 seconds into the video, so this is gonna go well. So yes, this year Lithuania had a fresh new national final sort of approach thing, which was won by, oh boy, Lithuanian names, Vaidotas Valiukevičius, Robertas Baranauskas, and Mantas Banišauskas. Please don't kill me if I said that wrong. Lithuanian is the hardest language to me, but mercifully for me, collectively they are known as the Roop. Possibly the Rope. I'm going to hope it's pronounced the Roop because that's how I've been saying it in my head, and the song is called On Fire, so as you can see I dressed appropriately by setting myself on fire for this review. Yes, the song is completely in English, though to an extent that kind of doesn't matter for reasons I'll get into, but anyway. Music and lyrics by the group themselves, lyrics solely by Vaidotas as far as I've seen, and yeah, this is a trip, so let's set off on our trip. Right, so Lithuania. I never know what to expect with Lithuania because they always bring something unexpectable to the contest. But I had been warned that I was in danger of really liking this song. I thought it might be some kind of, I don't know, indie rock song with a name like The Roop, On Fire. The Roop, The Roop, The Roop is on fire. Is that a reference to something? It's been rattling in my head since I saw the title of the song, and I don't know if I'm remembering something or if I'm just crazy. Anyway, I thought it might be something along the lines of Ukraine in 2017, but instead, what we've got here is some sort of bizarre fusion of the styles of Aminata Savadago and Slavko Kalazic, and honestly, I'm kinda here for it. This is another song this year that seeks refuge in how unabashedly weird it is, and I can always respect an act that absolutely owns their song without any shame or anything like that. I can respect that even if I'm not a fan of what I'm hearing, is the point I'm getting to. Having said that though, I just had to jinx it, didn't I? I was just praising Australia for not doing the whole higher, fire, desire thing, and then here comes a song right out of the blue that not only does that, but puts it front and center. Oh goodness me, that was camp. Maybe I can let that slide just this once, considering the role it plays in the song as a whole, and also the overall meaning of the lyrics, the story they're going for. Let's just get on with the stuff you might like about this song. Maybe I'll get my thoughts across a bit more clearly. So, where does one even begin with a song like this? I'll ease my way in, I think. First, instrumentation. This is probably going to be one of those songs where I hear the karaoke instrumental and just fall in love with it a second time. Again, on top of me falling in love with the full version of the song. The track is interesting and engaging, and on multiple levels too. For one, it's got those synth bass notes that give the backing track some body, as well as calling Aminata's style to mind, which is what I was saying earlier. But I'm not saying this is ripping her off, I'm saying I could compare the two in my head for ease of reference. The main focus here, though, from what I'm praising, is the synthy, not quite theremin-y sort of central hook thing. It's of just the right pitch, and just the right volume, and balance, and attack, and decay, and duration to suit the rest of the instrumentation, to stand out, to be memorable. Basically, you can really tell that that's the part of the song that the whole experience of this performance was initially built around, and boy howdy do they make it work. I've praised songs before for having an identifying piece to it, whether that's Albania's hook this year, the shy, like that. I can still remember that now, by the way. Or Sweden's hand gesture thing from a few years ago. Again, I can still remember that. Songs that have identifying things tend to stick out in your memory, who would have thought? So yeah, Lithuania's synth hook thing is one of those memorable identifying moment things. Furthermore, they really seal the deal with that by building their strange yet charming choreography around it too. The staging at the national final was wild enough as it is, so it was strikingly effective that every time the music came back to that iconic hook, the dancing stopped being that sort of chaos and returned to almost a choreographic refrain of sorts of its own. It will probably become a meme knowing how the fandom works in 2020 because of how I don't want to say deliberately bad it is, but just, it sure is something. It might become the next big thing in the fandom because of how flat out in your face weird it is. I've seen a lot of like reaction videos and whatever mimic it in their video. I'm not gonna do that, though I will highlight this that compared the dance from this year to Bilal Hassani's crown gesture from last year, and that made me laugh, but in like a laughing with rather than laughing at sort of way. But yeah, I look forward to seeing which way the memorability factor of this one lands. Overall though, no matter what, that dancing, that instrumentation, that everything here serves as testament to just how mesmerizing and honestly atmospheric the whole performance is. Lithuania's out to make an impression this year. They are out for blood. And as far as I can tell, they're succeeding. What else could I say? Nevertheless though, this song does have its downsides to consider, just like every song. First off, there's the sort of general notion that the performance as a whole is kind of postmodern in its execution. There's a lot of self-awareness going on, with the weirdness of the overall presentation and the deliberately awkward-looking dancing, and by itself, that's fine. You want to make a statement? You make that statement. The issue is, at Eurovision, some people, especially the cynics, and I say this living in Britain, where the entire population is cynical, they'll take it at face value and just see funny foreigners who don't realise how stupid they look. As a criticism, that is much more the fault of the critic than what they're criticising, but it is still something that might pull people out of the experience on the night. Really, the staging as a whole is kind of organised chaos unto itself. Similar to Australia, but much less self-contained, there's a lot of motion, a lot of seeming randomness that harkens back to the very strong imagery presented in the music video, and also a lot of flailing that may well serve to distract or confuse the listener before dragging them back into that epicentre that is the strange peacock walk, dance, refrain thing. For some people, it will just put them right off the performance. For others, it will confuse them so hard that it'll overshadow the song itself. Then again, that may be the point. Certainly, I would make that argument for the lyrics, because I find the lyrics, if I desire, to be distractingly egregious, or near enough so. Again, that's probably the point. The song is more about the spectacle than it is about being a statement lyrically. It's more interested in being a moment rather than a song, if that makes any sense. The lyrics are there more or less because the rules stipulate that there has to be lyrics in order to be eligible for Eurovision, and their approach to following that rule is to put lyrics in simply because we expect to hear them because of how we mentally pass songs as a medium. We expect to hear a rhythm line, a bass line, a lead melody, and vocals, usually accompanied by a visual aspect. This song looks to subvert that entire system. The thing is, some people are going to be majorly thrown off by that. Experimental peculiarities aren't to everyone's taste after all. It could work well, it could not. Your mileage may vary. Right, so, Lithuania and numbers. This song really gets into your head. Not just in an earwormy sort of way, but more like I'm having to sort of slow down and like think in slow motion to fully understand everything that's racing through my brain, you know? So, for the delicious craziness and for the hypnotic instrumentation and the... okay, yes, it's postmodernism and I have a degree in studying that, so I will give it a personal score of 9 out of 10 for the time being. There's room to go up, maybe down, probably up, as time goes on, just like everyone else. I'm not the biggest fan of the over-the-top choreography, and I do think that silly for the sake of it does tend to do much more harm than good to the contest's overall image, so I can't help but cringe at least a little bit, but at the same time, there's an odd sort of charm to the whole performance. They double down on the otherworldliness of the instrumentation, and it's the instrumentation that carries the majority of my appreciation for this one. Do I care about it as an artistic statement? No, not really, but I can still respect what it's trying to do. Am I just down for a bit of electronic fun? Abso-rooping-lutely. As for my jury-flavoured thoughts, I think I can see my way to giving this another 9 out of 10. Sure, it's strange, and yes, I can't overlook how weak the lyrics are, even if that is the point, but the fact that everything else comes together to form one of the most unique performances to hit the Eurovision stage since, well, Portugal last year actually, sort of brings that score as close to a 10 as I can justify making it, whilst still acknowledging the lyric situation and the inherent, not quite problematic nature of it being a song that dares to laugh at itself, but just that kind of if you're a cynic, then you will find so much to mock about this song, and it will then become a straw man for the contest as a whole. But yeah, just the potential for this song to do as well as it deserves to, compared against the likelihood of people getting entirely the wrong idea about both the song and the wider context. In not so many words, it's weird and they own it, and that is cool and good. It's just that self-assured Twilight Zonery may alienate listeners who didn't come here to have their notion of music challenged to quite this degree. You feel? So what does this mean for Lithuania as a whole then? Well, I mean, the national final is called Pabandom iš naujo, meaning let's try again, with an exclamation mark, so I have to give them at least some props for their tongue-in-cheek enthusiasm. Unlike a certain country that I happen to be standing in right now, when Lithuania laughs about the contest, they do so knowing that the onus to improve their results is squarely on them themselves and is nobody else's fault. So, for that overall attitude and the energy they've brought to selecting their song, not to mention the surprisingly impressive stage and production values at the national final, especially compared to previous years, I've got to give mad credit where it's due. And that's saying nothing of the fact that they've actually brought a song that makes a statement, it's not disposable music, and it's managed to engage the fandom to the tune of being second place in the betting odds. So, yeah. Also, as far as I can tell, the quality of the competing entries of the national final was at an all-time high as well. And knowing what we do about Lithuania's old, several months long approach to selecting a singer, yeah, Lithuania's on the up and up, especially if they hold on to this format. But can we expect to see the Rot in the final in Rotterdam? Strike that, reverse it. I would say, yeah, probably. Lithuania's qualification record is actually a lot more solid than it feels like it is, but nevertheless, the last time they qualified with a song as properly distinctive, shall we say, as this was, 2006? Between then and now, it's all been either non-qualifications, songs of a serious or traditional pop nature, or some combination of the two. I feel like this will probably break that pattern, and it will be very welcome for doing so, in my opinion. The public are already enjoying how off-piste this one is, and I think that the juries might give it a bit of the old cold shoulder, but they should still at least acknowledge the qualities of the composition and their dedication to the performance as an overall piece of art. It may not be the world's greatest pop song, it may not be designed to chart in 50 different countries, but it is still a piece of art of sorts. It challenges people, and it takes the medium of a song and does something different with it, whilst still sounding like a song that you can enjoy as just a song without having to worry about the art. And it's sort of the jury's job to acknowledge when a song goes above and beyond like this. But we'll just have to wait and see how things pan out in May. So, yeah. What do you lovely people think? I've rambled for long enough. As always, iCard in the corner of the video. Let me know how you feel. There's a poll there. Click on the iCard, vote. Let me know, do you like it? Do you not? Do you feel in the middle? Let's have a conversation. I really want to hear how people feel about this one. Comments below, you know the drill. For now, to the entire Roop, because I don't want to risk saying your names incorrectly again, I wish you the very best of luck, and I cannot wait to see how you adapt this performance for the stage in Rotterdam. See you in May.